Hey everyone, welcome to Atlas. Well, a few nights ago I got together with a roundtable, and that was so much fun. Patriot Underground put that on for us, and I'm really thankful to him for inviting me on that because I'm, I'm just going to be honest, I've never done anything like that before. I was actually really nervous before I went on, and I didn't know what to expect, but it ended up being really an incredible experience, and I got to meet some wonderful people, and hopefully some of them will come onto my channel soon. I know I've talked to Omega, and he and I are probably going to be setting up something pretty soon, and I hope that we all have the opportunity to meet each other again because it was just incredible to hear all of these people, and such an amazing blessing because we all come from different backgrounds. We all bring completely different things to the table, and you learn so much from each other when you do that. So that was just such a wonderful experience for me, and I'm just so grateful to have been a part of it. One of the topics that we brought up was something that 18-1 has talked about, which is watch the water. I think we've all had different perspectives of what that could be, because with everything through the boards, future proofs past. And so you're really just kind of guessing on what that watch the water might mean. And before we thought it was the watermarks on the ballots, but I don't think it's just as simple as it being just one thing. I think it's actually multiple things. And what is water? It is like this amazing force that can, it's so powerful that it can literally wipe out a population in minutes. It's something that we need daily in order for us to survive. I mean, it's an incredible source. And so I think that when we actually talk about watch the water, I think it's so much more than just one thing. And we learned that it was part of the watermarks, which I strongly believe that happened with the ballots. I also think, I think it was also part of the Evergreen ship whenever it got stuck in the Suez Canal. That was a big one. I mean, the sign that they did and right before they went in there, which was basically Male Genitalia. It was basically like, forget you, to the deep state, and you're in trouble. That was a total white hat operation, and Evergreen is so much deeper than what a lot of people realize. It wasn't just some freight liner. It was way more than that. There's so much dark stuff that goes on through Evergreen. And if you guys don't know, Evergreen was Hillary Clinton's name whenever she was the First Lady. And Evergreen is also connected with a lot of the Clinton Foundation. There's so much stuff that went on with the Clinton Foundation in Haiti, which you should research because it is horrific, the stuff that they have done. I mean, everyone knows that the Clintons are corrupt, so it's not really a push for you to really even dig into that because it's easy to know that they are a horrible crime family. But when we talk about watch the water, like I said, it's a lot more than what we thought. And right now we're coming up with the flooding that's happening all over. I mean, even months ago, around Christmas, the weather was insane. Where I live, there's hardly ever any snow, and we had over 1.5 feet. That doesn't happen. I mean, it was a massive amount of snow. And then in Texas, they had all of those horrible problems with the weather during that time. And I think that it's also part of weather warfare. And there's things happening in other countries where there is flooding, massive amount of flooding that just doesn't really occur, not on this level. And when you understand what dams are and you start doing the research on those, and now that all of this flooding has happened, there are bodies that have been washing up. I'm sorry. And I'll link some articles below for you to check out if you want to look at them, because it's not just, it's in Germany, it's in Belgium, it's in the Czech Republic, it's in parts of the UK, and the people that they are finding are not adults. They're not adults. They're around 12 and under. And that's horrific. And when you understand what the DUMBs are and realize what all kind of took place under there, it makes so much sense why all of this is kind of floating up into the surface, because it's starting to reveal a lot. You know, the media can't hide that, because people are seeing this on their, and capturing this on their phones. This is huge, and even though they're trying to block it, it's starting to get out. And I'm glad it is, even though of course the information is absolutely horrific. Nobody wants to know that takes place, that there's torture, and that people have, young children have been hurt. Nobody wants to know that. Nobody gets pleasure out of that. I mean, they do, the occult does, but not a normal person. I mean, it's devastating. So when we talk about Watch the Water, we have talked before about the dam in China and how it's on its last legs. And Omega had talked about how he believes that when that falls, that it's going to be a stock market crash like no other. I don't know if the dam is still active, but I know that there is a lot of stuff that went on underneath that dam. A lot of people have talked about that. Really, really dark stuff. And one of the places that it kind of, the water path would actually kind of go through is, I'm pretty sure it goes through Wuhan. Maybe not. Don't quote me on that one, because I'm not sure. But if and when that dam breaks, it is going to be catastrophic, because it's not just a tiny dam. I mean, this dam is massive, guys. It is huge, humongous. And it will make a giant wave all the way to the ocean. They have done models of how far and how high the water will go, and it's terrible. It could wipe out so many people. And from what I've heard, they've been moving people out of these locations for quite some time in preparation for this, which they would need to, because that dam is massive, and it's going to just destroy everything in its path. Watch the water. I've thought about that as well for our drinking water. You know, why haven't we gotten hit with a biological weapon of some sort in our water? I don't think it would be that hard to do. But I could see something like that possibly happening. I mean, we already have fluoride in our water, and if you guys don't know what fluoride does to you, it's terrible. I mean, it calcifies your pineal. And they've been putting that in our water for years, and in our toothpaste for years. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting stuff that they have been doing to us, and the chemtrails and everything that they've been doing to our plants and our stuff that we are trying to grow. I mean, I don't even know how they can even call things organic anymore, because they're constantly being sprayed through the air. They've been doing GMO to us for such a long time. Thank you, Bill Gates, by the way. Scum. Scumbag, guys. But all of these all of these things that have been happening to us that people just didn't realize the massive scale that it's gone on. It's affected everything. And, we get used to this because we've lived in this for our whole life, but we don't have to. We don't have to deal with this. It's only a small group of people compared to how many people are on this earth. 13 families? I mean, yeah, they're big, I guess, and they have a lot of power and they have a lot of money. And they've been in positions of of influence for a really long time, and unfortunately we never paid attention. We believed that we could trust them. We didn't. I mean, there's so many people that think that the Federal Reserve is actually owned by the government. No, I'm sorry, it is a private bank. But because it has the word federal in front of it, people think that that's what it is. If you guys research the Titanic and how that's connected to the Federal Reserve, that would probably blow your mind a little bit. Because I kind of don't think that was just an accident. There were 3 of the richest people in the world on that, and they were completely against the Federal Reserve. They didn't want to do it. Why? Because they couldn't be bought. They died on that ship. Stuff like this, we we chalk up a lot of stuff to being like, oh, that was an accident, that plane crashed, that was terrible. But was it an accident? A lot of things I don't think are. A lot of school shootings I don't think are. A lot of these random, false things that you wave in the wind, they constantly happen because they're trying to push this fear into you that makes it to where you get to you're controllable, guys. That's what happens. You're controllable. Fear motivates people, and they know that. And these people don't have a conscience. They don't operate in the spirit of love. They never have. It's beaten out of them whenever they're a child, if they had any. It's taken away from them at an early age, and they don't even understand the concept, but what they do understand is control. Sorry, I'm outside, and I thought this was a good idea, but it feels like 1,000 degrees out here. But we operate in a place that we're controllable sometimes, and we need to break out of that. We need to break out of this matrix that they have created for us and see what the real reality is, because when you do that, you're unstoppable. You're not controllable anymore, and there's so much power in that. I mean, growing up, for years I had researched the Masonic Order and Scientology. I did that for years before I even knew anything about what I found out after President Trump came in. And I was so fascinated by it, like how these systems worked. It puzzled me how people were so controllable, It was like I desired to try to understand why it was taking place, why these people couldn't just leave and walk out. What was holding them there? What was keeping them in this society for years? With Scientology, they have a way of basically taking you away from your whole family. People that are born in that, everyone that they're friends with usually are Scientologists. And if you walk away completely from your friends and your family. You have nobody. And they purposely make it to where you don't make very much money, so you're not able to provide for yourself without them. Then, if you dare to speak up on anything that you witnessed, they actually will move into your territory. They will start bashing you and calling you all these names to your neighbors, saying that you did all of these psychotic things and harassing you on a massive scale. If you've never watched Leah Remini's show that she did, it was like a docuseries. It was really good. It was really well done. I had already researched all of this stuff before she had come out with this series, but it put it into a visual for people to actually understand, because these people that have escaped that, they're warriors. I mean, they're crying horribly for the torment that they have been put through, because they don't want them to have a normal life. In the Masonic Order, silence. Silence is the key. That's why all the celebrities do these hand signals and everything like that. They have an oath. A blood oath, I guess. But it's an oath. And if they pass a certain degree, they literally will have things in their books that will talk about how they can kill you and the ways that they do it. Fear. Fear motivates. But whenever you start researching this and you start seeing how they work, you're not controllable anymore. And there's so much power in that. So guys, watch what's taking place right now. I mean, you can't keep up with what's going on because everything changes daily. I mean, hourly. There's something new. And honestly, I had followed 18-1 for several years. And if I didn't feel like the White Hats were in control, I would have left it. But they show me all the time that they are. Just like with the symbol that they did on Evergreen before it got stuck in the canal. They show you things daily, and if you look for it, you can see it. They are constantly signaling to you, saying that we are working for you. But that does not mean that you say, okay, you got it. That's good. I'll just sit back here until it's all done. No, you got to be involved. You got to speak. I mean, I had thought for years about doing a podcast. But what kept me from doing it was I was scared to do it. There was a part of me that I kept hidden from the world because my friends and my family, I've all growing up, never saw this side of me. I was always different. I was always the researcher. I always looked at things completely different than they did. And so I had to hide a lot of this from people because it wasn't something that a lot of them understood. And finally I realized I'm not doing that anymore. I don't care. I'm not going to allow fear to control me. Are you going to allow it to control you? I hope not. Because I don't know about you, but the idea of these occult members and everything that they've done to the devastating things that they've done to these children. I'm not okay with just sitting back and pretending it didn't happen. So I'm going to fight to bring out the truth for that. And for them, because they deserve that. There's a lot of things happening. And there's still so much good in the world. And I think that when we all come together, oh my gosh, that's a force that they can't beat. Because you know what we operate on? Love. They don't understand that because their vibration is always a very negative one. But love beats it all. I hope you guys have a good day, and I have got to go in because I am literally melting. But thank you guys for joining me, and I kind of got on a little bit of a rant. But I think it's important. I think it's important that we wake up and we fight for what we believe in and we stick together. Because there's just like the water, we're a force that they can't beat. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.